I don't know that the earth is flat. I know that none of that is real. None of it makes sense. If we're traveling through space at millions of miles an hour, why do we see the same stars that we've always seen?
Welcome to Dealer Out of Office. We're your hosts. I'm Frank Zombo.
I'm Jake Burkle, and we are here to talk to you about dealers' interests outside of the office.
Now watch this drive.
What is happening, everybody? Welcome to Dealer Out of Office. I'm your host, Jake Burkle, alongside my good buddy, Frank Zombo. Got a good one for you today. A guy who is one of the most fascinating individuals who brings an incredible amount of energy to everything he does, and purposeful energy, I think, is a good one for this guy. He pours into his community, into his friends, into his work, more than anyone I've ever seen. And it's been a pleasure working with him for the past 2 years now. So without further ado, Mr. Glenn Lundy. What's up, dude?
Hey guys.
Just discredit me right off the rip. There he goes.
Good to be here, man. Good to be here. No, what's up, man? Super excited. Let's go. I love that you guys are doing this.
Yeah, something different, right? So we want to talk about, obviously, quickly we'll give, in the way in which we met Glenn, we are a part of 800% Elite Automotive Club, where Glenn is the founder, CEO, and man with the plan. Really quickly, Glenn, give us a brief background, because I know 800% is a movement. It's a huge thing. So give us a little background on that, and then we can dive into some of that dealer out of office stuff we want to get to.
Yeah, man. 800% Club is real simple, man. It's just a community of like-hearted individuals who are looking to grow and scale their dealerships. So we get together weekly. We have training material. We have events that we do together. And a lot of what we talk about is obviously around the car dealership itself. But there's also a huge aspect of personal development and the individual growth of leaders. As we grow as individuals, our businesses can't help but grow as well. So that's what 800% Club's all about, man.
No, it's been a pleasure to be a part of. Frank and I have been on some very cool experiences with you guys, so we're looking forward to keeping it going from there.
One thing I was going to say, Glenn, I'm kind of interested, and I don't know if I know this about you, and if you want to be, however you want to go, brief, whatnot. How did you get into this space? How did you become a dealer? How did that start for you?
Yeah, so I'm a little older, Frank, so we got to go back in time just a little bit. But in 1999, I was working at Sterner and Klein, which was a call center for AOL. Do you guys know AOL? Are you old enough to know AOL? So people would cancel their AOL accounts, and I would call them up and say, bro, you got to get back on AOL. And I'd give them 6 months free or whatever to get them back. And it was miserable. It was a terrible, terrible job. But it taught me a lot taught me how to handle rejection. That's for sure. And one day I was in the break room, and in the newspaper, I saw an ad that said, make $5,000 a month guaranteed. And there was a phone number. That's all it said. Make $5,000 a month guaranteed. And I thought, bro, if I could make $5,000 a month, that's it, man. I'd be the guy. And so I called the phone number, and I said, is this real? And they said, yeah, come in for an interview. And so they gave me an address. And when I pulled in, it was Planet Nissan Subaru in Flagstaff, Arizona. And so I pulled in, I interviewed, they hired me on the spot. I invested 8 years of my life in that dealership. And over those 8 years, Frank, the dealership grew zero. I went from sales to finance to sales manager to general sales manager, but the dealership itself never grew. And my life outside of work just went to pot. It was terrible. I don't know if you cuss on this podcast or not, but yeah, all right. It went to shit, man. It went to shit.
Yeah, there you go.
And there it is. And so I got out of the car business after that, because literally for me, it was it was rough, man. I went to jail, in and out of jail. I lost custody of my oldest daughter. I was drinking a lot, like just doing stupid stuff. And so I got out of auto for a period of time. I went through a little season of my life where I kind of hit rock bottom, moved to Paris, Kentucky, where I met my wife. We had a child together, and she was like, yo, bro, you got to do something. And the only thing I really knew how to do was sell cars. So I went into another dealership, but this time I decided that instead of the dealership having a negative impact in my life, I was going to have a positive impact on the industry. And so I started at that dealership in sales, went from sales to sales manager, general sales manager, and ultimately the GM. And in that dealership, we grew 800% in just under 6 years. We went from selling 120 cars a month to selling 850 cars a month out of a small town population, 9,600 people. So that was gravy. Life was good. I was making great money. I was running that dealership. And then my wife was pregnant with our seventh kid.
Yeah, there it is.
I think it was seventh. She was pregnant with our seventh kid. And I decided, I don't want to say I decided, literally God spoke to me and he said, hey man, you can stay right here and everything's going to be awesome, or follow me and let's see how far we can go. And so I walked out of that dealership in October of 2018, and fast forward, I built 800% Club, did some other things, so on and so forth. And now here we are, man. So I'm on this side of auto now, but I've been in auto since 1999 with a small break in the middle.
Love it. So, and again, I was kind of off script or whatnot, and I know Jake's going to get into some juicy stuff. Recently, this has come up to me, and I've just been thinking about, there's a college athlete I've been working with for some time, and he's working to become, get a shot in the NFL. And I had another agent that wants to chat with him or is going to ask scouts about what they think. And I'm nervous about what the scouts are going to think and then him hear something negative, because I think he has a strong chance. I think he thinks he has a strong chance. But if all of a sudden the scout were to tell him like, it's really not your thing, and a little bit of doubt creeps in, or, and we interviewed a Navy SEAL one time before this, and I have another Navy SEAL buddy, and I think about when doubt starts to creep in, and I even thought about it in my own aspect of when I was trying out for the Green Bay Packers, and you start to read into what people say, like not people who aren't even experts, people who just write, and this guy's from a smaller school at Central Michigan, he ain't going to make it, he's going up against guys from Big Ten, and then you read about it and the self-doubt starts to creep in. How many times in your career, when you were trying to be a GM of a store or 800%, you're starting a new business up, we'll be like, that ain't going to work. And even for us, we're in startup mode at Auto Hauler Exchange. That ain't going to work. How many times has doubt crept in, and then how do you think about it and stay positive and to succeed? I was able to make the Packers. You're able to build a business, grow 800%. What do you think got you to that?
Yeah, so how many times? Well, I mean, I guess I'm 47 years old times 365 days a year. So whatever 47 times 365,
Right.
every day doubt creeps in. It's literally an everyday aspect of my life, and whether it be from the inside or the outside, there's always doubt there, especially when you're trying to do something that matters, right? So for me, I used to live. I tell people all the time, like I kind of have two like I have before and after. Right? There's an old Glenn and there's a new Glenn. Like I've lived multiple lifetimes in one life. And I used to not have any systems or processes on how to break out of that. But now I have a system that I literally use. And every single morning I wake up and I do the morning 5, which is 5 simple steps. Never hit the snooze button. Don't touch your phone first thing in the morning. Write down your gratitude and goals. And that's one step. I know it sounds like 2, but write down gratitude and goals. Take care of the physical, and then send out an encouraging message. So I do those 5 things every single morning, and it takes my doubt and turns it into gratitude for the seasons where I've failed. It takes my doubt and it allows me to reflect on how far that I've come. It takes my doubt and reminds me that I am powerful beyond measure, right? It takes all of that doubt by doing that system every single day, tapping into mind, body, and spirit. It foundationally sets me up to where the doubt exists, but it doesn't stop me. The doubt is there, but it will not keep me from reaching and achieving. It will not keep me from striving and trying to be the best version of myself that I can possibly be. So it's there every day, but I have a system to knock it out every morning.
That's cool. And I saw that, I think you posted it on LinkedIn, that those 5 stages. And I actually thought about those because I feel like at the start of the year, like January, February, March, we were having a conversation about this earlier, like working out and eating healthy. And during those times of the year, I'm way more motivated, where like a snooze button does, like, I don't ever hit a snooze. Like, I'm ready to go crush a workout and attack the day. I feel like I'm even a better salesperson, to be completely transparent. Whereas like right now you get to like these lull parts of like eating poorly. I feel like it all goes hand in hand because I'm not gonna lie, I hit the snooze button twice today. Like, I'm eating poor, like little things. Like, I feel like I'm not as good of a salesperson as I could be right now, or a sales manager. Like, it is like you have to like remotivate you're right. Like, it usually comes from me in January. So, and again, it's me just putting myself out there, I guess. But like, it starts with that first thing in the morning, and it starts with that snooze button.
You're doing a great job, buddy.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone else tell you differently. I think you're doing a great job.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Two things around that. One, you got to have a system. Anything done daily changes everything. Just remember that. Anything done daily changes everything. I used to do things consistently until I realized that consistently can be perceived different by everyone, right? If I tell you that I work out consistently, what does that mean? What's it mean?
You frequently?
Three days a week? 5 days a week? Once a month? I consistently work out once a year, right? Consistently doesn't define anything, right? If I told my wife, "Hey, honey, I'm consistently faithful," she'd be like, "What does that mean, bro?" Right? Like, what does that mean? No. I'm
How did Glenn
faithful
get
daily.
that shiner on his eye? Golly.
Yeah, that's right? No. I'm faithful daily. I do my morning 5 daily. And when you do things daily, it doesn't matter if it's January or April. It doesn't matter if it's September. It doesn't matter if it's Sunday or your birthday or a holiday. It doesn't matter. When you do things daily, that means you do it every single day, right? Yeah. And that's what I found for me is I had to get away from doing things consistently and go to doing things daily. And it really made a transformation in my life. But I will also say, the other piece I wanted to add on to that is you talked about January being the beginning of the year. If you actually do the research, April's actually the beginning of the year. They've changed our calendars so that a new year happens in the middle, the dead of winter and cold and so on and so forth. But if you go back a few hundred years before they changed our calendars, the new year used to start in April. And we used to have 13 months. Each month had 28 days versus having 12 months with some having 31, some having 30, one has 28, right? And it was all in cycles with the moon. The moon cycles are every 4 weeks. So a month used to be 28 days, not 30 days. We used to have 13 months of the year, and it used to start in April when there was spring and life after people came out of the dark because they didn't have things like electricity. So anyways, just an interesting conspiracy that has existed for the last couple hundred years, just so you know.
I mean, if that's where we want to start, I mean, we can start there. The thing, again, Glenn, like, so Glenn and I have gone on tangents and phone calls, like driving home, like on this topic and conspiracy theories in general. And that's something that like we've kind of connected with. And buddy, we've had some arguments. I don't want to say arguments. They've been, we can call them debates. What do we call conversations?
Conversations. Loud conversations.
Loud conversations. So the big one, and I'm going to leave this one up to you, whichever one you want to start with. What's the one that is getting you going? What's getting you kind of hot and bothered right now? What's out there? And I think I know the answer to this one, but I'm gonna let you start this one off. What is your biggest? What's the one that's like burning a hole in your head right now?
I mean, there's so many, bro. It's all it's and they all kind of fit under the same umbrella. But I mean, you got the Charlie Kirk thing going on right now. That was a bunch of nonsense. You got Candace Owens stuff going on right now. That's some crazy stuff. You got, and we can go down flat Earth trails. We can go into simulation.
Okay, you brought up flat Earth because that's one we've
name
disagreed
it,
on.
You name
We've
it.
disagreed on flat Earth. So I have a hard time wrapping my head around the flat Earth concept. I've been in airplanes. I've seen like, what I think I've seen of curvature of the Earth,
No,
right?
you
Like,
have
why do you go
not.
up and come down?
You
See,
are out
well,
of
okay,
your mind.
so all right,
Look
all
it
right.
up right now. It's impossible to see the curvature of the Earth at 30,000 feet. What planes were you
This
up
is
in?
where we want to get to. Like, what is your like? I'm still open to it. I'm still open, but I just can't wrap my head around it. So, floor is yours. Convince me the Earth is flat.
I don't know that the Earth is flat. Like like to put it in a box like that doesn't necessarily work. But here's what I do know. I do know that science's explanation of Earth, the solar system, how we're floating, like we're rotating at 1,000 miles an hour right now, and we're spinning through space at 6 million miles an hour right now, whatever the number is, and everything's like flying around the sun, and we've been to the moon and all that crap. I know that none of that is real. I know that none of that is real, right? Like none of it, if you just look, none of it makes sense. Like if we're traveling through space at millions of miles an hour, why do we see the same stars that we've always seen? Why is the North Star in the exact same position every single night for thousands of years? Why can't you see the other side of the moon? Why is there a dark side of the moon? Because we just happen to be spinning at the exact same rotation as the moon that happens to be the exact same distance from us, which is the exact same distance from the sun, to where you never see the back side of the moon. Like it makes no sense. So, and if you look it up, if you do the research, right? If you do the research, there's no photos. There's one photo of Earth from space. It's called the Big Blue Marble. 1970, 69, I think is when this photo is from. It's the only photo. And it says on the photo on NASA's website that it's what's the word I'm looking for? Photoshopped. It's not an actual photo. It is photoshopped, and it says for scientific reasons. It's photoshopped. That's what it says. So why, in today's day and age, when you and I have cameras everywhere, did you know there's 5 billion pictures that are taken a day with these things?
I believe
5 billion pictures taken a day, which is more pictures than have ever been taken in the history of all time, right? 5 billion pictures a day, but yet there's one picture of Earth from space. And then to top it all off, if you actually look up, go on your phones or wherever and look up what is the shape of the Earth, they say that it's this helio-shaped, that it's not actually a globe, but yet the picture shows a perfect globe. So I don't know exactly what's going on, but I know the whole narrative that they're feeding us is nonsense.
So Frank and I were talking about this earlier, right? And Frank is self-admittedly not a conspiracy theorist.
I would just say, why are they hiding it from us?
Well, okay, that's the question that Glenn
Like, and
and
then
I
why
had.
am I going to spend time? Like, what am I going to really solve it? And then I'm going to waste a lot of energy and stress over it. So it's like, whatever, Like, if they are lying to me, like, so be it. Lie to me. Like, it's not affecting me either way. So
we can go down that path a little bit if you
But
like.
that's the question you and I always say is like, why? Like the moon landing, why do you lie about it, right? We could go through like, there's a video somehow, some way of landing on the moon. Who the hell took the video?
Right.
Right? Like you talk about like Neil Armstrong's boots, like they have the pictures, they have the footprint. Like you're telling me we had less technology than is in our phone back then that we have in the palm of our hand, and somehow we sent guys millions of miles away into space and landed on another planet.
And had a
But
phone
we
call
didn't have
with
the same
Richard
technology we
Nixon.
do as in our phone.
And had a phone call with Richard Nixon from his office on a
Right.
regular telephone. There's a video of Richard Nixon on a regular telephone talking to an astronaut who's supposed to be on the moon with no delay, which is absurd. And we've
But
never been
AT&T
back.
can drop my phone call 3 times a day
Yeah.
on Earth.
But we've never been
How's
back.
that
Keep
work?
that in mind, because that's what we do here in America, right? Like, we figure something out and then we just stop, and we don't ever do it anymore, right? Like that's the American way, right? We don't deplete all of our resources, destroying everything. No, we don't do that. The fact that they've never been back should tell you enough about the whole moon landing.
And why do you think that? In the Glenn Lundy opinion, why haven't we been back? Because we never went in the first place?
Because we never went, bro. There's a radiation belt dude, if you watch the video, it's like this tinfoil little paper cup thing that they say supposedly went through. There's a radiation belt. There's a radiation belt. Look it up. This is all just stuff you look up. There's a radiation belt that we cannot pass through. It cannot be passed through. We do not have the technology to pass through this radiation belt. And they admit that.
Where is it at?
says
I'm
that.
sorry. This is
It's
news
like
to me.
40,
The radiation
it's like
belt.
40,000. It's like 40,000, supposedly 40,000 miles outside of our atmosphere. It's called the something belt. But it's this belt of heavy radiation that we don't have the technology. NASA even says we do not have the technology to get through this belt. But we did the one time in the 70s. But we don't have it now because we lost it all, is what they say. They say the computers, everything got lost. That's literally their claim, that everything got lost and we no longer have the technology to be able to get through the radiation belt. So, Frank, to
I do
answer
find
your
it weird that
question,
we've never been back to the moon. Why don't we go like once a year, take pictures of it, right?
right?
Is it just a waste of time and money, maybe? But we spend a lot of money, I guess, on other things. Like,
I mean,
we're
what is
shooting rockets
NASA?
all
What does
the
NASA
time.
do?
Elon's shooting rockets all the time, like trying to get to Mars, but yet we're not interested in the moon anymore. I mean, come on.
See?
But now, why did they do it? Why did they do it? Well, that one was during Richard Nixon. At that time, we were in a Cold War with Russia, and the United States was losing. Like, the sentiment of American citizens was that Russia was stronger than the United States. And people were scared, and they had kids hiding under their desks, and they were doing, all this crazy stuff, right? Because apparently climbing under your desk will protect you from a nuclear bomb. I don't know. But that was the state of the citizens. And so the government had to do something to show superiority over these other countries. And there was a space race going on at the time. And so landing on the moon was kind of our,
show of force or of technology of advancement, right?
yeah.
And, I mean, just to play devil's advocate and as a conversation piece, why wasn't Russia like,
It's false.
nope, that's bullshit?
Yeah.
Like, what? Why have they been? I mean, why have they been so quiet about it?
if you want to go down that road, let's go down that
I
road.
mean, we're here.
Who says they didn't say it's bullshit?
I guess they could have, and they just limited it to us, right?
Yeah, they just didn't tell us.
Bro, look at your history books. Did you notice that your history books, in every story in your history book, every invention, every revolution, everything, whatever, it was all Americans? Isn't that weird, considering Americans are only 300 million out of 8 billion people on this planet? How is it that the 3% of the human population has done everything and nobody's done anything else? What's interesting is if you go to China, China's history books are all about Chinese people inventing everything and coming up with everything and winning everything. And in Russia, it's the Russian people that did everything, right? Like, these books that we're programmed with from the very beginning, bro, it's all, they call it patriotism. Do you remember you used to have to stand in class and say, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, right? They want you on the team, bro. They need you on the team, so they can't tell you like what everybody else is saying. They got to pump you up so that you can stand and fight for this country. And I don't blame them for that.
World War champs right here.
Undefeated.
USA.
Yeah. I don't blame them for that, right? Like, that's what you do as a great leader, is you pump up your, this is where we're great. and we're amazing, and we're going to shut out anybody that says anything different, right? So every country does that. So why doesn't Russia deny it? Who says they don't? Why doesn't China deny it? I don't know. Have you been to China lately? I don't know.
No. Would never.
feel
I'm
me?
the greatest things ever.
Yeah, Frank is undoubtedly the most patriotic person in this office. I'm a close second.
Yeah.
America.
But there's always
Let's
the
go.
why, right? Like there's always the why, which we'll never know the answers to, but it's fun in my mind to speculate, right?
You gotta want to know the answers because even Glenn's got me already thinking.
Like the answers are terrifying.
You got me a little bit with the stars too. It's like, why do I always see the Big Dipper in the same spot? But this Earth is
Oh, I
supposed
saw
to
the
be rotating.
firewood burning in that head of yours.
Yeah,
That
I was
was
I know, man. Supposedly we're traveling through space, but you know. Hey, here's another good one. Next, have you ever seen the sun and the moon at the same time?
yes.
Have you ever seen like the sun's up? It's like
Yeah,
8, 9 a.m. Sun's up, and then you look over here and the moon's over here.
Yeah.
How can the sun and the moon be up at the same time, dude, if this thing's a globe? So what is China seeing on the opposite side of the globe? If you're seeing the sun and the moon, are they seeing an empty sky?
Ow. My head hurts.
Because we never see an empty sky. How do they see empty skies, but we don't see empty skies?
Yeah.
It's right in front of our face, bro. It's just you get taught a certain way. I
All
don't
right,
know if
so-
you remember
so
this
to
or
be
not. When I
fair-
was a kid, they told me there was 9 planets. That's what they told us in schools. There was 9 planets.
Right.
Now they say there's millions.
Well, Pluto's a
Pluto got
star.
scra- yeah,
Pluto's a
it's
Yeah,
star.
it just
scratch.
changes, bro. It's whatever the narrative is. It's all. But if you actually look with your eyes and then do a little bit of research, like it's right in front of our face.
So to be fair, you're not saying the Earth is flat. You are saying it's not a globe.
I'm saying it's not a globe traveling through space randomly at bazillions of miles an hour.
Okay.
Now, from my experience, it's pretty dang flat. Because I've never seen a
Elaborate on
curve.
that.
I've
So
never
you're
seen
saying,
a
because I know
curve.
you told me like you're flying, you talk to your
I
pilots,
travel
you
a
talk
lot.
to. Yep.
Yeah, I travel a lot. I've never seen a curve. I know I'm a pilot. I have my helicopter's license. We learn to navigate on a flat map. There is no adjustments made. No pilot makes any adjustments for the curvature of the Earth. Why? How do you navigate a ball without ever having to make adjustments in elevation for a curvature of an Earth? It makes no sense. We are trained on flat maps. I can take my helicopter up into the air and I can hover. There ain't no ball spinning below me. Like it's not like I can just stop right here and let Canada work or Europe work its way around. No, I got to travel on it. I can follow the sunrise. On a flight from East Coast to West Coast. Like my experience of it is that it's definitely more flat than it is round. But I don't know the wholeness of it. I haven't been all.
So this
around
might
the
be a
world,
dumb
you know?
one, like the
Nobody
Coriolis
showed me a
effect, right?
picture, so
Right, like a sniper, the Coriolis effect, like adjusting for that.
yeah.
I mean, that's just sheer mass of the bullet and losing velocity. Then that's not really the curvature of the Earth.
Correct. If you take a ship, right, you're on the beach and you see a ship, you know how way out in the distance you can see a ship like go, they say it's going over like the curve of the Earth because it disappears. Like if you're watching it, it'll go, and it'll disappear at some point.
Yeah.
But then if you take binoculars and pull them out, that ship will come right back. It's got nothing to do with curvature of the Earth. It's like a highway. If I look down a highway, you guys have done that in school, right? Like where they draw a picture and then you have that vanishing point at the top of the picture. Like if I'm looking down a perfectly flat highway road, at some point it comes to a vanishing point where it disappears. That's all that's happening visually. Nothing's going over any curve that we can prove anyway.
Did you ever know this too? When you take if you shot a bullet out of a gun, out of a rifle that's perfectly perpendicular to the ground, and then you drop the bullet at the same time, so you shoot one and drop one, technically they would hit the ground at the same time
Yeah.
because gravity's pushing down on both of them at the same. Right, one's gonna maybe hit the ground a mile that way, but one's gonna hit the ground, but they would hit the ground at the same time.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I've
think
read
that
that,
can-
yeah.
There's no way that's right.
Because the same energy is pushing down. What is it? 9.8 meters per second squared or something.
Yeah,
like that,
yeah,
pushing
something.
down. I don't know. That came out of nowhere.
Potentially, if gravity's real, we could go down that road.
Producer Elise is giving us a thumbs up that we're on the right track here.
Yeah, we could.
Elise has been fact checking in the background this whole time.
Gravity's not proven either, just so you guys know. Density is proven. They look it up, bro. They can't prove gravity. They've never been able to. They cannot prove gravity. That's density. The cup is heavier than air, so it falls. So think about it.
So Isaac Newton was full of shit?
No. Isaac Newton said that an apple fell for the tree, right? So he defined the force as gravity, but that force can definitely be density. But think about it this way. There's gravity that is holding the moon in place, okay? It is pulling so hard that this interstellar planet can't move, even though the sun is pulling with its gravity. And the combined force holds this planet in specific spot to where we can only see half of it, right? That's what's happening with gravity, they say. But yet, I can take a feather and throw it up in the air, or a balloon, or I can raise my leg, I can raise my arm. We're talking forces that are holding a planet in space, but it's not strong enough to hold my feet to the ground. Pretty interesting. Maybe I'm just stronger than gravity. I've adjusted. I've evolved to where I'm stronger than the force that's being used to hold a planet in space. Maybe that's the case, but science cannot prove gravity.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, theories get debunked all the time. I mean, think about what they believed in 200 years ago compared to what we believe in now, and how many things have been debunked. I mean, who's to think in another 200 to 300 years? There's probably going to be a lot of the stuff that we believe now. Like, I can't believe those idiots believed in that. You know what I mean?
No doubt. That's what I believe, Frank. That's what I believe. I believe that
I
it's
guess I'm a
conjecture.
conspiracy theorist now. Just like that.
I think it's conjecture.
I think you're just a questioner.
I think it's conjecture, and people come to a conclusion based on what they know and understand. And then they call it science and they call it fact. And most of us just blindly follow. But the reality is, what is considered science or fact today looks nothing like what was considered science or fact 100 years ago.
And I'm already a little bothered in my mind about like the things I did believe in, like being questioned. So like I probably won't get too far down this rabbit hole because it's already like bothering me a little bit. Like, shoot, if I've been lied to? Yeah, I feel like now I'm questioning things and it's causing me like more.
Well, it's like your parents told you make that face, it's going to stay that way.
Yeah,
right. Like,
true, right.
But the whole thing
Turn
is
a light on in a car. The cops are going to get you.
Right.
Tell your kids in the back seat, like, hey, if you keep that light on back there,
I believe that. I believe that one from my parents.
Yeah.
Frank, It's amazing that you're saying that because that's how I felt too, dude. I felt betrayed, like full on betrayed when I started discovering some of this stuff. I'm like, bro, this is, and then I felt like a dumbass because I just blindly accepted things.
Well, it's all.
And now
look
I'm
over
just
here.
in a place where I just like question everything.
Right. Yeah. Well, the whole thing is look over here while they move something over here, right? So there's always an ulterior motive, whatever it might be. My question is, with as busy of a schedule as you had, because every time I text you, every time I see you on LinkedIn, every time we're like Glenn Lundy's on a plane, not to mention the family life that we can talk about in a second. But where do you find time to research all this? Is this part of your morning routine? Is this just a
hobby?
A hobby? Like where does Glenn Lundy find the time? Because I think for a lot of people, it's like it's an easy excuse, right? Like whether it's again working out, whether it's taking care of the physical, all that stuff. Like where do you find time? How do you manage your life to look into stuff like this and question stuff like this?
I'm a very curious person. I'm a firm believer that the man with all the answers never changes the world. It's the man with all the questions, right? There's a movie, Elon Musk's favorite movie, Galaxy.
Elise, look it up.
What is the name of that movie?
Not Galaxy Quest.
No. It's anyway, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Okay. And in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, humanity wants to know the answer to everything, right? And so they build a supercomputer that's going to give them the answer to like the meaning of life, right? And so they plug it in, like, what is the meaning of life? And then like hundreds of years go by while this supercomputer's computing. And then at some point it comes with a result and all of humanity is there and it spits out the answer. And the answer is 43. And everyone's like, what? 43? Like, what the hell does 43 mean? And the whole point, what the movie's trying to say is, if you don't ask the right questions, you don't get the right answers. So just what is the meaning of life? Well, 43. Well, that doesn't mean anything if you can't really compute. Like, you should have been a little more specific, right? And it took hundreds of years to get this answer. And so I like to ask questions because I feel like transformation comes through the questions, not the answers. It's not about having all the answers. It's about asking questions. So my TikTok feed, bro, deep on all the things that people question. So it's filled with anywhere from 5 to 8 minute long videos. Like, my feed is not 15-second, somebody doing dances in their living room. My feed is all like 5 to 8 minute videos of people questioning things. And so when I'm getting ready in the morning or I'm in the car or whatever, I'm flipping through there and I'm listening. And then if something piques my curiosity, instead of just taking it at face value, I'll go dig a little bit, man. I'll go dig and do a little bit of research until I at least get to a point where I can say, okay, I no longer believe that to be true. Now, what it is, I don't know. And I'm not necessarily, like Frank said, I'm not going to go spend my life trying to figure out whether the Earth's flat or not. I don't care. But I do know that the bullshit they're feeding us is not real. And that's enough for me to not blindly be led by, these people.
And then you think about even like the news today. I don't listen to the news. I don't have social media like that. What are they really feeding us to? Like, I do believe that, like that all is fake. What else are they feeding us?
Well, we've lost the ability.
That's right.
We've lost the ability to think for ourselves. I think what Glenn is like, what I admire, and I think more people need to do is like, why? Like, what when I first met you, the first thing you told me was, Jacob, question everything.
Everything.
Right? That was 2 years ago. And to this day, like that still applies. Like, you watch a media outlet from, one side, you watch a media outlet from the other side.
Right.
But like, be a human and make your own decision. Right. And I think we've lost that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say one thing that might upset some people, and then I'll follow it with another really quick thing. So during COVID, right? During COVID, I had lots of questions. I had a lot of questions because I just didn't feel like what they were dishing up wasn't adding up. And I went online where there was because I kept hearing different numbers, right? They were saying this many people died in this city. Like, I kept hearing all these different numbers, but I wasn't experiencing that. Like, that wasn't what was happening around me. Like, my friends and family members weren't passing away in groves. Like, it just wasn't my experience. And so I started typing into Google different numbers, and I would just put in a number and then put COVID death, and an article would pop up with that exact number. Every number from 1 to 9,999. Every number, there was an article somewhere in the media with that number, that specific, like if you typed in 683, there was an article with 683. You typed in 3,474, there was an article with 3,474. The media is a propaganda machine, bro. And it's them, like, we don't stand a chance. When they have access, Facebook has access to 1 billion people, right? All these platforms have access to 1 billion people. We don't stand a chance against those machines. So I will say that. The second thing I wanted to share is going straight back to auto industry. In 1973, NADA wrote a guidebook on how to make $1 million a year owning a car dealership. And in that guidebook, it says that your salesperson should sell 8 to 12 cars a month. Fast forward 52 years later. This was before the internet, before all this stuff, right? This is 1973. Fast forward 52 years later, how many cars does the average car salesman sell in automotive right now?
8 to 12.
8 to 12, bro. 8 to 12. It's crazy. We got this. We can sell all over the world now. You can do deliveries, right? And it's just the same. Somebody wrote it in 73 that this is how it should be, and 52 years later, people are still living by it. That is true across the board, not just in business, but in our schools, in science, in a lot of different aspects of our lives. Somebody wrote it. It may have made sense at the time. It probably was true at the time. But here we are 50 years later, and we're just doing the same things, man. It's
Right.
nuts.
No one's evolved.
No one's evolved.
Sheep.
Bah. Crazy.
What is there anything else on the conspiracy theory that you want to go to? Because we got a few more things that kind of dig in if we want to go there. But if we want to stay on conspiracy
You're the
theories,
boss,
you tell
man.
me.
You're the boss.
Oh, don't
You guys
say
are
that.
the host. I'm just a guest.
Don't
here.
say that. No, I mean, we could get into, and we talked to moon landing. I mean, one of the big ones you and I kind of talked about, this is a little controversial. I believe it happened, 9/11. The ulterior motive is what gets me on that one. I just think there's too many things around it to be fact. I mean, yes, it was a great loss of life. It's one of the biggest tragedies in American history, but how do guys that have no flight experience successfully take over a plane, alter course, hit a target, a big target, sure, but for someone who's never had any experience, and Glenn, you're a pilot, like that's hard to do. The Building 7 collapsing and a complete controlled demolition just happened to be where all classified documents were kept. No plane parts found in the Pentagon, and then somehow we find a passport of one of the hijackers at ground zero. Like, that's the stuff that and again, to Google, I mean, there's been several, dozens of articles of like structural engineers saying like, nope, there's no way this was, there's no way that jet fuel would have burned the base of the World Trade Centers and would have made it collapse. So that's one that always gets me, and I feel like there's a lot of people that feel some sort of way on that one. So I want to hear your thoughts on that.
I mean, obviously 9/11 happened, right? Like,
Absolutely,
went
yes.
down.
Everyone can say where they were, what they were doing.
People lost their lives, right?
Yep.
Like, it happened. How it happened and why it happened. Here's the thing. Most of the time, I'll go as far as to say most of the time, the story that we get told is not the story. Now, my whole family's military. Like, I love and respect the military. And I understand that if it wasn't for our military and if it wasn't for our government, we wouldn't have the opportunities and the freedoms that we have today. Within that, I fully understand that I, as a non-ranking military or government official, am lied to. I'm lied to. They have to lie to me at times in order to protect my freedoms, in order to protect this country, and so on and so forth, right? So 9/11, do I believe it happened the way they say it did, that two Iraqi terrorists took over planes, ran them into buildings, and blew them up? No, I don't think that that's what happened. Do I know that sometimes governments have to do things, or that allow things, if not do things themselves, but allow things to push bigger, to solve bigger problems? Yeah, it's probably a pretty complicated space to be in. You know what I mean? Like, the decisions you have to make when you're that high, when you're talking about 300 million people, I think they have to probably make some. So I'm not justifying anything that they do. I'm just saying, I think that the stories we get told are about as much as they can tell us a lot of times, and they have to paint narratives, bro. They have to paint narratives. So if two insurgents, which is the word they like to use, if two insurgents kill 5,000 Americans, then what does America do? Go get them.
Go back at them. Go get them.
We support the war.
Yeah.
We support. Use our tax dollars. Go get them.
Your ass, it's the American way.
All right.
That's right. That's exactly right. Do you see what I'm saying? So if you watch, there's a movie called V for Vendetta. Have you ever watched V for Vendetta?
I love that movie. Just watched it recently. I
think V for Vendetta. I have a kid born on the 5th of November, by the way. I'm like, remember the 5th of November. Yeah. I think that adequately points towards 9/11 and other experiences. Like, the government has to either do or allow things that most of us would consider horrendous for what they think is the greater good. Not saying that's okay or not okay, but I believe that that's what happens.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
And 9/11, I think, was one of those things.
Fair enough.
Frank, so the basketball thing, the gambling thing, the insider thing. So a lot of people think that there's NFL is fixed in lots of different ways too. So I'm curious, from an insider, when you hear things like that, how does that make you feel? How do you respond to that? Could the refs be in on it? Could it be a bigger deal? Is it players like it is in the NBA? I'm curious, man.
And again, I don't have a large grasp on what's going on. Only reason I know anything about it is Chauncey Billups is like a Detroit hero. So I knew he was involved in it, and that's the extent of what I know about running poker games where they're able to cheat the system.
Doing little things, yeah.
What I can tell you about the NFL is in my life, on my kids, never once did we ever go into a game thinking about the score or thinking about, hey, we should probably not score here or score here to give some type of spread, or do we not go into a game not trying to score as many points as possible and let them score as least amount as possible? So never once ever did I experience anything like that. Again, I was a mid-level guy, low-level. I wasn't the quarterback or the head coach or that, but I would say very low percentage chance that anything like that's going on. The guys in the locker room are trying to win. They're trying to win a Super Bowl, what I experienced.
I did find something interesting. There's a mutual friend of mine who played in the NBA here in Oakland County, Michigan. We were playing golf. We talked about this because it was very recent with the whole Chauncey Billups thing. He tried to go on DraftKings and bet basketball. It would not let him put a bet in because they knew his name.
Recently now?
Like within the last, this was October. Yeah, so very recently. It would not let him put a bet in. Now, his name is not, Steve Smith, so it's a recognizable name, but to the point of, they would not let him put an NBA or even obscure overseas basketball because of the connections he may or may not have. So I know that to be true.
It's very
that might have been a new crackdown, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I haven't thought about it enough, but I've never been hey,
it'd be hard for a linebacker to
hey, Frank,
I'm gonna miss this tackle.
Yeah, let this guy go through or something. No, it's never happened. I'll tell you.
Yeah, some of these guys in the NBA, Frank, just so you know, so say the over under would be that a guy was gonna score 20 points, right? An individual guy, over under on that, because now with all these betting, you can bet on anything, dude. You can bet on the color of the Gatorade at the Super Bowl, right? So. It was so say the over-under was 20. This guy's going to score less than 20 points or more than 20 points. And they would phone it in and say, bro, we need you to score less than 20. And so he'd go out and score 18 points, and then he'd twist his ankle and be out.
There's some sports that are easier to do it in.
He wasn't throwing the game, but he was throwing his individual performance.
The only way I thought about this is that you could have some type of an edge is when I played, Andy Reid, when they did the first 15 plays, he always had a flavor guy, flavor of the week, where it'd be all of a sudden it's Tyreek Hill he's going to get 8 or 9 of the first 15 plays are going to be designed for Tyreek to get the ball, or maybe it was another, our third receiver, all of a sudden he's going to be the guy in that first 15. So it's almost who's going to be the flavor of the week this week. And you may be able to be hey, insider information to a buddy, be hey, if I'm betting, especially if it's a guy that's a high odds guy that's so-and-so, the third receiver is going to catch 60 yards, and you could bet maybe you could have some type of advantage there by like inside info, but like
football's a hard sport to do that. And to Glenn's point, like basketball, you're like, oh, your over under is 22. Just you can miss a few a little easier and make it still look like you're trying, right? Like, you go cold for a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know though. Those refs be making some bad calls against teams playing the Chiefs these last few years, though, man. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying.
This year, I think
Maybe
it was
not
out.
the players, but
Now they're not getting those calls anymore. So now it must be a thing. I feel like we feel like the Oakland Raiders right now, like not going to make the playoffs. Like what's going on?
He had to throw the
this
jab.
is crazy.
Switching gears a little bit, this whole thing is dealer out of office. We've seen you in your element, right, in front of the squad, in front of the 800%. I see you on the weekly calls, in person. And when I said like the energy's there, the passion's there, I'm not putting any filler in. You're for real. When you're at home, and I know your home life is a little hectic, what are you doing? What is Glenn Lundy doing when he's out of the office? He's trying to, be with the family. What is the Lundy crew like to do? What are you guys doing when it's not 9 to 5?
My wife and I are playing zone defense at the house because we are outnumbered. The inmates have definitely taken over the asylum, as they say, over at our spot. So her and I are in survival mode a lot of the times, just huddling together in a corner, like, what did we do? What did we do?
Messed up bad.
I am a firm believer. I learned a long time ago that we should never spend. There's a big difference between the word spend and invest. And you guys have heard me talk about this.
Yep. Love this.
And so when I'm home, I'm making sure that every action or conversation is an investment with an expectation of a return. So that can look different all the time, right, Jacob? So if I'm noticing I'm maybe not as connected with one of my kids as I would like to be, then I'll invest in doing something that kid, enjoys so that I can get a return. If my wife, maybe my wife, I can notice that she's overwhelmed or tired. She's been breastfeeding or nursing. My wife has been breastfeeding or nursing all but like 20 months out of the last 17 years. So if I notice she's tired or whatever, then, I might invest in cleaning the living room just so that so when she walks out of the bedroom, it's not chaos, and maybe that little bit helps her mind, right? So when I'm at home, those are kind of the things that I'm doing. Is I'm really like, I don't have any real big outside hobbies, or I'm not, playing pickleball 6 hours a day like my boy Frank used to do. If I'm home, because I am on the road a lot and I do work a lot, when I'm home, I'm really just investing in the relationships that I have with my kids and my wife, and making sure that those are strong so that I can go out and do all the things that I need to do.
No, love that. We've had the privilege of spending some time with a few of your children, Mare, Willow, who are just absolute.
Their years.
Like, yeah, it's pretty incredible. So, it's like talking to a full blown adult, seriously. So I guess my kind of question as we wrap this up is like, what are you doing? And I know, you're investing time, and is that just you and your wife, raising them to be like that? Like, I got young kids. Frank's got young kids. I think there's a lot of people out here who are busy, right? They're grinding, 10, 12, 14-hour days, and they still look at spending versus investing. So from your point of view, like, what's the single greatest thing you've done to maybe you can't say a single thing, I don't know, that's tough to do, but what you've instilled in your children to make them the way they are? Because truthfully, they are incredible kids. Like, they, again, wise beyond their years. It's like talking to an adult. It's incredible.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Your kids, you want your kids to be a good representation of the name, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of power to that. So thank you for that. There's a lot of different things that we do with our kids that feed into that. My wife homeschools all the kids. That's been big. None of my kids, well, Savannah just turned 16, so she's she's the first kid in our house to get a smartphone. None of my kids have phones. We don't have a TV in our living room. We have TVs in the house, but we don't have one in the living room. That's the room where we have conversations with each other, is in the living space. So there's like little things and stuff that we do there. I try to take them to as many different things as I can once they're old enough, obviously, to be in those environments. I think having them around guys like you and Frank and Royce and Danny's and Brian Benstocks and the Lisa Copelands, you guys don't know her as much, and Danelle Delgado's, and just having them around other great humans, I think is really, 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 really important. But if I had to narrow it down to kind of one thing, I would probably say the biggest thing that I've done with and for my kids to help shape them the way that they are is I treat them like individuals with an understanding that they are only in my care for a limited amount of time, and that ultimately I was chosen to be their parent, but they are children of God. They're God's child, and he's going to take them on whatever path it is and whatever journey they need to go on. And so all of my kids I make sure they feel seen, heard, and significant. And I'm not trying to shape or mold them. I'm just trying to be an example for them. And they're going to take from that what they take, if that makes sense. So we don't baby our kids. We don't helicopter parent our kids. I'll tell you that the stove is hot and you shouldn't touch it, but I'm not going to make you not touch it. If you go over there after I told you that it's hot and I told you it's going to burn you and you go burn yourself, hey, that's the way you had to learn, because we all have to learn a little bit differently. So we don't baby our kids, that is for sure. We don't childproof our house. We don't do none of that stuff. They swim in ponds. They ride four-wheelers. They're gritty. They're nitty gritty. They want to go play in the mud, dude, go play in the mud. Like, let's go. They climb trees, all those types of things. So I think that's the best thing that we've done, is just allow them to grow and learn in the way that God has planned for them, so they can become the best versions of themselves they can possibly be. And we're just here to be guardrails and, hopefully catch them before they fall off a cliff.
Love that.
Yeah, I think we need a little more of that.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, as we wrap up really quickly, where and our hope is that, the dealer audience out here that we bring in, where can they find you? Where can they connect with you and your team? Because you have some absolute killers on your team that I know are just helping people left, right, and center. Where can we find Glenn Lundy and the 800% team?
Well, they probably don't want to find me now. They're like, this dude's a lunatic.
This guy's weird. I don't know.
They will when they see every list I see at the top of every dealer's list is like as an 800% dealer group.
That's true.
So I'm sure they're going to want to see you.
They're like, he thinks the earth is flat. He thinks 9/11 with 9/11 was an inside conspiracy. He questioned COVID. Like, this guy's a lunatic, man. He doesn't give his kids cell phones. What's wrong with this guy? Glenn Lundy is my name, and I would love to connect and hook up, whether you're in the auto industry or not. All you got to do is search my name. For some reason, no other Glenn Lundy on earth has decided to have a social media presence. So search Glenn Lundy. You'll find me, man. You'll find me for sure, and I'd love to connect.
Love that, man. Love it. Well, Glenn, I can't thank you enough. It's been a pleasure these past 2 years, from business to the friendship we've created thus far, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. And just really thank you for doing this, and wish you guys all the best, all the 800% people. We couldn't be happier to be a part of this journey with you guys.
100%.
Thanks,
Thank
man.
you.